Well, hey family and friends, got me and my boy Gideon here, coffee time with Pastor Brant. I want to talk a little bit about some of these unprecedented times that we are in. Right? I think it's safe to say at the very least, what we are experiencing is unusual, it's unheard of, and it's unknown. I think probably the only certain thing we can say about the times that we're in is nobody really knows what's going on, like completely. There's a lot of really smart people and a lot of people in authority, but when it comes to actually knowing everything about what's going on, I think we're all trying to do our best. And so I want to talk today about how do you find a sense of stability in uncertainty. And I'm going to take my passage from John chapter 6. You cool with me doing John 6? You cool with that? Okay. I'm cool with that. Gideon says, let's go. And this is a passage that happens right in the middle of the Passover festival. And frankly, it was almost about time for the big celebration. People are all coming to Jerusalem. And Jesus had just performed this miracle, miraculously feeding people with bread from heaven. He fed the 5,000 people, and then that evening, after all of that was done, Jesus went down to the shore after coming down from the mountain, in John chapter 6, starting in verse 16. You cool that I do that? Hey Gideon, look, let me read this. See, that evening, Jesus' disciples went down to the shore to wait for him. But as darkness fell, and Jesus hadn't come back yet, they got into the boat and they headed across the lake to Capernaum. Can you say Capernaum? Capernaum. Soon a gale swept down upon them and the sea grew very rough, and they had rowed 3 or 4 miles when suddenly they saw Jesus. They saw Jesus walking towards them on the boat, or on the water. And they were terrified. They instantly went to fear. They had no idea that it was Jesus. But then Jesus calls out to them, and this is amazing. He says, "Do not be afraid, I am here." And actually, the very literal translation, ego eimi, harkens back to God's name for himself in Exodus 3, which is, I am. Moses, tell the people, I am is going to deliver you. Right? I am is going to be the one who sets you free, who gives you the Exodus, who brings you out of your captivity and into freedom. I am. And God says that and uses that name, Yahweh, I am. And then in the Greek, Jesus says this to his disciples. He goes, I am. Don't be afraid. And they were eager to let him in the boat. And then immediately they arrived to their destination. Immediately. The crazy thing is that many commentaries really believe that this harkens back to the Exodus experience. I mean, think about it. Miraculous provision of bread from heaven, Passover celebration time, and now Jesus is miraculously controlling the water through which he brings deliverance for his people. I mean, he's walking on the water, completely in control of the storm that is surrounding his disciples. Jesus himself says these very divine, powerful words. Don't be afraid, I am. In the middle of your storm, don't be afraid, I am. I am enough for you. I am powerful over this storm, and I can get you to where I'm bringing you immediately. I am sufficient. I am in control, and the situation that you're experiencing right now is not going to sink you. This is such a powerful reminder for us, I think, especially in uncertain times, in unprecedented times. I mean, the disciples had no category in their brains for what in the world? They're in the middle of the ocean, rowing, and they know how to handle the storm. They're fishermen. But then they see this, what seems like a ghost walking towards them. And their brain, because they didn't know how to process what they were seeing, what they were experiencing, there was nothing for them previously in their experience to tell them how to know how to deal with this. So their brain instantly goes to fear. And I think in the middle of uncertain times and times where we don't have a category in our brain, it's unprecedented what we're dealing with. We don't know how to think through this well. We have this tendency a lot of times to turn towards fear. But what if instead of exchanging our uncertainty for fear, we exchange our uncertainty with faith in the one who is powerful over the storm, who is completely in control of not only the chaos that it seems, but totally knows how to get us to where we're going. Jesus is divinely in control. When it seems like things are out of control for us, the God of the universe is still in control. He says, do not be afraid. I am. I'm self-sufficient. I will make you sufficient. I'm inside of you. I'm holding you together. And I'm going to do in your life something that the world's going to look at and go, wow, that was God. That was not just a man who walked into that boat. That was God. In the middle of uncertainty, in the middle of unprecedented times, Jesus is still in control. You know, I as I was reading this passage, just a stanza came to me. And I believe it was from the Lord. This stanza, and it just goes like this. These waves may surround me. They might even drown me. But treading on the wave here, I see my loving Savior, and I am not afraid. I'll say it again. These waves may surround me. They may even drown me, but treading on the waves here, I see my loving Savior, and I am not afraid. Take heart, my friend. Jesus is walking even on these waves.